What's up? It's your boy Sean P back again with another edition of Hip Hop Roundtable Reviews with my esteemed guest from BLG, aka Bootleg Gang, my homie Ansem. What's good, man?
What's going on? How everybody doing out there? Everybody like, subscribe, comment, even hype the video.
Yeah, hit the hype button, definitely. And like, share, and subscribe, Hip Hop Roundtable Reviews. But tonight we got a lot to talk about. First, it's July 2nd, so you're probably going to see this video a little bit later on your 4th of July weekend. But I want to get your thoughts on Nas. It Was Written. Given that it's the 30th anniversary of that record. Mm-hmm. And then we're going to get into a list that was in our group, Hip Hop Roundtable Presents the Review, about the top 5 rappers with one honorable mention from each decade: 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s, 2020s. And it sparked a very interesting debate in the group. And I wanted to get people's take on it. I wanted to see what they missed, who should be ranked higher, who was snubbed, and we're going to debate back and forth. So it's going to be a very interesting show. We're probably going to split this episode up in a couple parts because that's going to take some time to go through 5 decades of hip hop. But first, Ansem, before we get to It Was Written, I want to give a shout out to the family of one David Barry, who was a contributor and also an admin for my group for over 15 years in Hip Hop Roundtable Presents the Review.
Oh, really? 15 years?
15 years, yeah.
Oh, wow.
We started in 2012.
Okay.
Dave came over from this group called Hip Hop Debaters, which I was in, and I was on and off between different groups. I was in another group, the Shadow Code Radio hip hop group with Reese, because Reese and I started a group, and I went over to Hip Hop Debaters and met Dave through there. And ever since then, man, I just gotta say, he really has been one of the true representatives of hip hop and hip hop culture. He was an avid drummer. He was a drummer in a rock band. He made, he did beats. He was into hip hop. He was a heavy Wu-Tang head.
And a heavy MF Doom fan, too.
Scarface, all of that. A big Lupe fan. Like, really one for true hip-hop culture, represent the lyricism. One time, he and I and another group member, we did a list of the greatest lyricist of all time, so Dave helped me with that. And he actually put me on the lyricists I never knew about and really opened my eyes at how great they were. You know what I mean? So I really learned a lot from Dave. He and I got in some heated debates sometimes to the point where we were speaking to each other for months. But I mean, all I got to say is condolences to his family. And may you rest in peace, Dave. Like, you really were a great contributor to our groups over the years and a true representative of hip hop culture. I just want to give my condolences to him with that.
Yeah, I think I joined the group, if I'm not mistaken, 2022.
Yeah.
And around that time when I joined the group, him and a couple other people was getting at me because I'm not the biggest Eminem fan.
Yeah.
Even though I may be a bigger Eminem fan than people around me, but compared to people online, I'm not the biggest Eminem fan.
Yeah.
And they just swore I was the biggest Eminem hater. But we all found something that we like, and MF Doom was one of those
That's
artists
true.
that brought me and him agreeing with a lot of stuff. And I brought up Southern artists. He may not be a big fan of certain Southern artists, but at least he gave a listen. And I fuck with David because shout out to you, D Double, but I gotta bring it up. But this is the first dude I've seen that told my dude, yo, you gotta pay me to debate with you because your takes are horrible. And it's so
right about
crazy that a year later, Dub used that at me. And I'm like, you got that straight from David, bro. Also, David had a hilarious take on the Iceman album this year as well. I saved that post. But
Uh,
yeah, to hear that he passed from that one female in the group, what was her name?
um, I forget. You're talking about his sister, right?
Oh, that was his sister.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
That's when
okay.
we found out the news. Yeah.
But yeah, send condolences to his sister, all of his family members, friends,
Mhm.
associates. Man, rest in peace, David. Man, you had dope opinions. Even though I didn't agree with everything, I loved your takes, bruh.
Yeah, we're gonna miss you, bro. I know you're debating in heaven.
For
But
sure.
rest in peace to you, and my condolences and prayers for your family, definitely. So
Yes, sir.
it's that. So with that, I just did a previous episode speaking about it was written, given its 30 years to the day, given it
Hmm.
July 2nd today that it was written came out. I told the whole story about yeah, Ansem. I'll just give you a short aside. Like
Okay.
I was um I was of a certain age. I was like a pre-teenager, you know what I mean, or what have you. And I was living in New York that summer, and I only had money for two records, right? So I remember it was written. It was De La Soul, Stakes is High that came out on the same day, and it was Reasonable Doubt that came out the week before. So
They
I
did
only
come out
had
with
money
this
for two, and I got the Stakes is High tape, and I got the It Was Written CD. And I remember I got the It Was Written CD, and I didn't really like it. I was like, I should have got the De La Soul CD because I like that better than It Was Written at this time, believe it or not. But yeah, true story, man. And but overall, eventually, I mean, It Was Written. I grew to love that album. It's one of the greatest albums of all time. And yeah, I mean, I don't know what's your experience with It Was Written, and where do you think it ranks in hip hop history, bro? I gotta get your take on it.
Now, back then, I remember a lot of people was not a fan of It Was Written because it didn't sound like Illmatic.
Mm-hmm.
But I
Mm-hmm.
happen to have a bootleg copy of the clean version of It Was Written.
Ah,
And my favorite song on that album, I didn't know was a bonus track until I saw someone who had the CD and I saw the song wasn't on there. Solid Murder, which was like
that's
on
a
Illmatic level.
legendary song. Yes.
Yo, that song was so hard. And also, It Was Written, maybe the first rap album where the order of the tape is different from the order of the CD, and the bonus track was on the tape, not the CD until future releases.
That's true.
I think
That
later
is
on,
true.
Silent
Yeah.
Murder was added on as onto the CD, but originally, Silent Murder was the bonus track off the tape, and
Yeah.
that was the song I played a whole lot. So when I was playing it, people was caught off guard, like, wait a second, are they
It's not
looking
on
at
my
me because
tape.
I'm playing the clean version, or are they
Yeah.
looking at me because I'm playing Silent Murder?
Yeah.
With that being said, even though it wasn't Illmatic, I still loved It Was Written minus two songs. I actually didn't care for Nas Is Coming, produced by Dr. Dre. And if I Rule the World was cool, but when I heard the album, I was like, yo, why isn't the message a single? But of course, the message couldn't be a single. But that was also the song where he allegedly indirectly dissed Pac.
Yeah.
Take it down to years later, in 750. Shout out to everybody in 750. Shout out to Darius. One of the first time I ever did a versus in 750 was with Darius. We did a Ghostface Killer versus Styles P battle, and we just having random conversations about hip hop and where we were from. And somehow Nas got brought up, and he would just like talk about how he wasn't a big fan of Nas's beat selections, and I understood that. And it was funny because he said my two favorite albums from Nas is Still Illmatic and Illmatic. And I'm laughing because I'm like, you're calling it Still Illmatic. It's Stillmatic.
Still mad.
Listen,
Yeah.
man, but you can make an argument Stillmatic is better than Illmatic. I said, but what about It Was Written? And he brought back that hate that people had back in the days of how a lot of people didn't like Stillmatic. I mean, didn't not Stillmatic.
It
How a
was
lot of
written.
people didn't like It Was Written. But
It's
I know
true.
he's a DMX fan. So I'm like, that's Nas' second album. Let me tempt him to see if he want to do this. I'm like, yo, how about we do DMX, Flesh of My Flesh, Blood of My Blood, versus Nas, It Was Written. He
Uh-huh.
thought I was crazy. He wanted to do a battle on the spot. He thought he would have killed me. We did 10 rounds, but according to the post online, Nas won 8-2. And he wasn't feeling that because he was just like, yo, how are people liking It Was Written when everybody knew it was whack back then? So
Yeah,
then it wasn't really that It Was Written was whack. It just didn't sound like Illmatic. But you can say that about almost every
that's
Nas
true.
album before the Hit Boy series, that it sounded nothing like
Yeah.
Illmatic. And everybody was expecting Illmatic. But we're not going to act like It Was Written was Trackmaster's best album.
I think if there was one drawback of that album, it was the production. I actually did mention that when I did my 30th anniversary review. The production was the only thing, and it's just as you said, like it wasn't Illmatic production. It wasn't Q-Tip, DJ Premier, Large Professor, Pete Rock. It wasn't that. It wasn't Boom Bap. And I was like, what's this? And it took me a while to get used to it. But over the years, and you come to appreciate how great the lyricism and storytelling on that album. Probably the greatest storytelling, one of the greatest storytelling albums of all time. I mean, the singles.
I Gave You Power.
I Gave You Power, which Pac copied. You know what I mean? And Pac also copied Street Dreams because he took the sample from that for All Eyes on Me. So Pac, even though he didn't like Nas, you know he studied Nas. So
yeah, because he called him a fake ass Rakim, but he did have Rakim moments on that album. Like to me, he had a couple of Illmatic moments, like Silent Murder, Shootouts. My favorite song on the album was actually Suspect.
You know what? Those are one of the songs that I didn't.
Outside.
Yeah, Suspects and Shootouts were very good songs, but I like the other songs better. You know what I mean? Because of the production. But as far as the lyrics and storytelling, I mean, it was top of the line right there. I mean, you couldn't beat that, you know. But yeah, where do you think it stacks all time as an album? Top 5, top 10?
See, here's the thing, because now we're in the era where we're seeing a lot of these young people are actually liking It Was Written more than Illmatic, because he was a little more versatile lyrically.
Yeah.
It didn't have the production team of the first album, but he definitely had a lot more versatility, topics also. He had plenty of topics. Black Girl Lost.
Yes.
Oh
yeah.
The Setup. That was produced by Havoc. And yeah, Havoc did produce 2 songs on there.
Havoc,
LES
Dr.
produced
Dre.
Suspect.
Yeah. Primo had the one song with I Gave You Power. But
I Gave You Power.
Yeah.
Rashad Smith produced If I Rule the World.
I didn't even know that.
That's the same dude that produced the One More Chance remix by Biggie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Trackmasters did the rest of the album. But of course, The Message, when I heard The Message, I was like, okay.
One of Nas' greatest songs. Oh my God, one of Nas' greatest songs. Yeah, to me, it's easily top 5 all time.
Really? You give that top 5 album all time?
Yeah, easily, man. I would say my top 5 would be Chronic by Dr. Dre, Illmatic, Life After Death. I probably have after that, I probably maybe have Enter the Wu-Tang's first, and then probably It Was Written. I know after that, you probably got Reasonable Doubt in the conversation, All Eyes on Me, Machiavelli. For that 5th spot, you know, Get Rich or Die Trying's in the conversation. Darkest
Do you put It Was Written over Illmatic?
No.
You don't?
No.
So you got It Was Written and Illmatic on your top 5?
In the top 5, yeah.
Okay.
But I got It Was Written either 4 or 5.
Okay.
4 at the most, maybe 5. I mean, it's real close. You know what I mean?
And you could say It Was Written may be the first album that started the aging well period, because of course a lot of people complained about it back then, but
Yeah.
now people are saying it's better Illmatic. Someone else brought up how someone said back then you heard a lot of people claiming that Jay Dilla messed up a Tribe Called Quest, but nowadays people are like Jay Dilla saved the Tribe Called Quest. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And just to piggyback off of that summer of '96,
plenty of albums was out that year.
You had ATLiens come out. You had It Was Written come out. You had Reasonable Doubt come out.
You had the Roots Illadelph, the Roots Illadelph Half-Life.
Roots Illadelph Half-Life came out. I mean, and before that, you had Iron Man that dropped. You had All Eyes on Me that dropped. Machiavelli dropped later that year. I mean, that was the point where you went to the record store and you damn near got a classic or close to classic every other week. You know what I mean? I mean, you struggle to get a classic or a classic worthy album every 3 years now, you know? And in that 1 year, you get, I mean, you couldn't go wrong. You couldn't go wrong, man.
Yeah, plenty of albums came out that year that was so great, man.
It was a great time, man. Great time to be alive. But let's get back to the topic at hand. So
let's go to the topic.
Let's go to the topic at hand. Yeah.
Give a shout out Give a shout out to the person that made the post.
I don't have no idea who made the post.
Oh, it didn't show their name on there?
No.
Oh, I thought it did. My bad.
Oh my God, man. Let me type 80s, 90s.
So what we're about to witness, y'all, is someone's opinion about, to them, the top 5 best MCs of the 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s, and 2020s. They even included a honorable mention from each era. I'll say it up front that I wish the person could have included groups, but I can understand why he kept it a solo artist because of the time that we in.
That's right. So let's start with the 80s. Let's start with the 80s post first, and then we'll get to the 90s. I think this is from David Fenulys. Fenulys. I don't know who this guy. I don't even know if he's in our group, really.
Actually, it says it right there, Real Hip Hop Nation. Shout out to everybody from Real Hip Hop Nation.
Which is another dope group. Yeah, check that group out if you can, definitely. So, let's get to it. I think the top of the list is the number 1. So he has LL Cool J number 1, Big Daddy Kane number 2, Rakim number 3, Kool G Rap number 4, number 5 KRS-One, and honorable mention Slick Rick. I actually fucks with this list. I don't know about the order, but I can co-sign this.
I definitely respect this list. My only feedback is Chuck D gotta be up there.
Okay.
From Public Enemy.
So who would you put Chuck D? Would you put Chuck D over Slick Rick?
You're gonna hate my answer. And a lot of people disagree with me.
I'm fine with it.
I would replace Chuck D with LL Cool J.
Oh, interesting.
Because to me, the 90s LL Cool J was better than the 80s LL Cool J. Even though the 80s LL Cool J was groundbreaking, I can understand why he's up here. My favorite old school rapper of all time is Rakim. So
I think he deserves to be number 1. I think he's number 1 because Rakim was a game changer. Like nobody was rapping like Rakim before he came along. I almost make the equation that Kendrick Lamar is like the Rakim of the 2010s because nobody was rapping in that era like Kendrick Lamar was. You know what I mean? He's more ahead of his time for the 2010s when Rakim was ahead of his time for the 80s.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I see Rakim in a whole lot of people. I can't just limit it to Kendrick Lamar. I even see Rakim in Benny the Butcher. I see Rakim in J. Cole. I see Rakim in Fonte. I see Rakim even in Lil Wayne. Like, Rakim is the reason why people stopped rapping that catchy way that everyone else was doing it, that was easy to understand.
Yeah.
And even though he went straight to the point, he went straight to the point in many ways. Like, Follow the Leader did not sound like It's Been a Long Time. Did not sound like I Ain't No Joke.
Yeah, to me, I think Rakim has one of the greatest voices in hip hop. Like, his voice and even though it was monotone, man, it was mesmerizing. That voice, like, whenever you heard that voice, you listen. You know what I mean? Yeah. And he had a way of, even though he wasn't like a pop kind of dancey dude, or had radio songs like LL, like, his songs still had a message, but you could still dance to it. Like, what was the one? Was it Follow the Leader, or was it the one where
Let the Rhythm Hit Him?
Oh, Thinking of a Master Plan, that joint, right?
Paid in Full.
Paid in Full, yeah, Paid in Full. Like that had a radio element to it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. He could still make a good radio song. You know, I Ain't No Joke had a dancey feel for the 80s. You know what I mean? So,
and a catchy sample.
Catchy sample, yeah. So to me, he was a total package. He checked every box. He gotta go number one to me. Number two can be LL, but it could also be Big Daddy Kane in my group.
Me personally,
yeah.
And a lot of people in this era will disagree because of Africa Bambaataa. I give KRS-One number two because you have two eras of KRS-One. You have BDP KRS-One, and then you have solo KRS-One. Now, BDP KRS-One is a lot more controversial because, you know, he had your gangster stories, he had your hood stories, you had your conscious stories, then he had your controversial stories like 13 and Good, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of people in this era judge him for songs like that and automatically cancel him out, not realizing that he was telling a story of stuff that actually was going on at the hood at that time. Doesn't mean it was a good thing, but he still brought a consciousness to that, to where, like, yo, this is an example of what not to do.
See, you know what's interesting? He made the transition in the 80s from being somewhat of a street storyteller to more of a conscious type hip-hop artist. You know what I mean? And in the 90s, he developed into that angry hip-hop style, that militant hip-hop style kind of. So KRS, I think, over the years, he's lost his, his stature as one of the goats. You know what I mean? But he still had to be recognized as one of the best of his era.
Yeah, for sure. It just messed up that a lot of people judge him for his opinions on Africa Bambaataa. That's exactly what it is. If it wasn't for that, he would be respected a lot more right now.
The whole African Bambaataa situation.
That and his battle with Nelly.
That's what I was going to say.
A lot of people in this era preferred Nelly more than KRS-One, unfortunately.
I actually think it started long before the African Bambaataa thing. I think the African Bambaataa thing, unless you're of a certain age, you're really not going to care about that. You know what I mean? Too much. But
at least Nelly and KRS-One did do a song together after the battle.
Yeah, but I think that the Nelly situation, KRS came off as like being the old man on the lawn, kind of.
Of course.
Go ahead.
Of course. He was always like that. He was his beef with the Juice Crew. He was always like that.
But see, I think there comes a point where it's like you got to embrace the times. And I think after that, he learned that, you can't tell hip hop fans what to think. That's the number one thing. That's like telling people how to vote in an election. You know what
I'm
I
not
mean?
gonna lie, that's a weakness of mine that I always got to work on.
Yeah.
And I felt like I've always improved, but just certain things, it's like you're not gonna make me like that.
But you
But
know, I
you're
don't
right.
gotta like it, but I think my whole thing is, and of course, you know, we're of a certain age now, and some of our heroes are getting older.
Mhm.
You may not have to jive with their style or like them, but you should give them respect. You know what I mean? Like you respect them. All right, for that era, he was that GOAT or whatever, even though we don't bang with him like that. And I think like people KRS came off of as you need to stop listening to Nelly because he's trash and he's not what hip hop is, you know. And people at that time like going to the clubs and listening to Nelly. You know what I mean? Especially from the South and the Midwest. So a lot of that again plays into the whole New York bias thing, giving me some New York, and there it starts that fight again. So I think that was a misstep by KRS, which maybe too late he owned up to, but yeah, but he definitely belongs on the list. I think Kool G Rap is one of the most underrated rappers of all time, man.
I agree.
We had this debate. Didn't we have the debate about AZ? Remember AZ and Kool G Rap? In our group, not too long. I think when AZ's new album dropped.
Yeah, someone called AZ a lazy version of Kool G Rap. When I was like, technically, he took Kool G Rap and Big Daddy Kane style together because Big Daddy Kane was more mellow and Kool G Rap is more aggressive, like your Big Pun and your Necro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's true. I think Kool G Rap is a more aggressive lyricist. I would take Kool G over AZ respectfully, even though I like AZ, you know. But Kool G Rap to me is the father of modern day street rap. Kool G Rap to me birthed Nas, birthed Biggie to an extent, even elements of Jay-Z in the hustle talk. You know what I mean? Like you can see that, hear that in the Road to Riches. You know what I mean? So,
and you can also see Jay-Z and Big Daddy Kane because Big Daddy Kane, even though he had the smooth flow, he was a puncher.
That's right.
He's like really one of the first. Him and LL Cool J were like one of the first true punchers. Even though Big Daddy Kane punches more like people today, and LL Cool J was more metaphorically than punchline type level. Yeah.
I think on a side note, what do you think about Big Daddy Kane coming outside now though? Because Big Daddy Kane is actually Max B. I tell you what, ever since he came out of jail, I think he's smelling himself a little bit too much. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like
I fought with Max B though, but you're right.
Big Daddy Kane like that, bro.
I definitely mess with Max B, but at the same time, you are right. Like that, like he definitely woke up Big Daddy Kane. But if you notice, every era, Big Daddy Kane pops up out of nowhere and show you he still got it. In the 90s, it was Show and Prove, where he low-key, not debut, but definitely low-key made Jay-Z. He actually put Jay-Z and Old Dirty Bastard on the same song, if you think about it. That's crazy.
You got to remember that Big Daddy Kane brought Jay-Z on his first tour.
Yeah.
That was his first tour experience, was on Big Daddy Kane's tour. So,
and in the 2000s, shout out to Lil Brother to NZ. Big Daddy Kane did a song with Lil Brother called Welcome to Durham.
That's right.
Where he called Durham the Brooklyn of the South.
Yeah, I mean, Big Daddy Kane, he definitely represented. Overall, I think this is a good list.
Can't forget Slick Rick, the true storyteller.
Yeah.
In my top 5, personally, I actually have Rakim at number 1, KRS-One at number 2.
Mm-hmm.
You might not agree with me on this. Slick Rick at number 3 because Slick Rick's stories was always like fun and he never stuck on one topic. He talked about all sorts of stuff.
And by the way, he did put out an album last year.
Yeah, he's the reason why we have Outkast. Exactly.
Yeah.
He's the reason why we have Outkast. He's the reason why we have Ghetto Boys. He's the reason why we have Ghostface Killer and Raekwon.
Yeah.
Like, he's the reason why you have Lupe Fiasco. You know what I'm saying when it comes to the stories.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have Slick Rick at number 3. I actually have Chuck D at number 4, maybe because I'm more into that conscious stuff. But
Yeah.
we're not going to act like Public Enemy wasn't holding things down before gangster rap took over.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, Public Enemy was the even though they had their gangster moments too.
Them and X-Clan were they were that conscious militant voice of that era.
Yeah, but they weren't soft. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah, but yeah, man. I actually had Chuck D at 4.
Mhm.
At number 5, I have Big Daddy Kane.
Okay.
No disrespect to Kool G Rap, because Kool G Rap be spitting. Just me personally, I prefer those rappers. And I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me because I didn't include LL Cool J, but we're not going to act like LL Cool J isn't the reason why these rappers are talking to females.
Yeah, I like that. I would have Rakim 1. I would have to say LL 2. Actually, you know what? That is a good point about the 90s being better than the 80s. So let me go Rakim 1, Big Daddy Kane 2, LL 3, Kool G Rap 4, and I'll go KRS 5. Yeah, I would say my honorable mention would be Chuck D, though. You know what I mean? I'd give you that because I think he had, even though Slick Rick got classics, I think Chuck D had a bigger impact with that militant, conscious, like really angry style. Like Fight the Power is one of the most militant records and hardest conscious records of all time. So I would probably swap out Slick Rick with Chuck D. I think that's a good call.
I'm gonna go left. My honorable mention is not a solo artist; it's a group. EPMD.
Yeah, they were smooth, man.
Because they're one of the first artists that pretty much stuck to a certain concept through every album, and that's business.
Yeah, they were
back
smooth.
In business.
If we were going to do groups for the 80s, I mean, of course, you'd have Tribe, you'd have.
Well, Tribe was early 90s. The 80s
started in the 80s, though. They started 88, right?
But not necessarily as a Tribe Called Quest. They were down with the Jungle Brothers. So before Tribe Called Quest, you had the Jungle Brothers, who was the prelude to a Tribe
Called
Quest.
Well, I mean, NWA is going to take it all, you know, as far as groups for that era. NWA, Run DMC, EPMD, you know.
Yeah.
So
we can't forget the West Coast at all.
That's right.
That's why I didn't want to mention those names until the 90s, because they mentioned a name here that to me was better in the 90s and the 80s.
Which let's get to that. Let's get right to the 90s. Let's not
now the 90s would be like my teenager period because I graduated from high school in 2000s.
Same thing here. Same thing here.
So this is going to be more interesting because it's hard to name 5, bro, in the 90s.
This is the hardest one, man. Oh,
it has to be. Now, here's my thing. I'm going to give you my personal favorite rappers, which all technically came out in the 90s except one.
Yeah.
My favorite rapper is Common. That's number 1. Number 2 used to be Rakim, but now it's Nas. Yeah. Number 3 used to be Biggie. Now it's Rakim.
Yeah.
Number 4 is actually Redman. And number 5 always switches. It was originally Biggie, but then it changed to Fonte from Little Brother. But then it changed to Black Thought. But then it changed to
also from the 90s.
Ghostface Killer. You know what I'm saying? So number 5 always changes. But like out of those 4 that I mentioned, only one is mentioned on here. And that's Nas.
I tell you what, man, the 90s, you could literally go 10 deep. Like 90s is the greatest.
You could really go 20 deep with the 90s if you really
want. You could go 10 deep.
Like really. 20 names in the 90s will crush will give the 2000s, 2010s, and 2020s a hard time. Because let's talk about names that ain't even on here that
Yeah,
you can arguably put on here. Because we got Ice Cube, we got Snoop Dogg, we
yeah,
got Biggie, we got Tupac, Nas, and DMX, which
yeah,
makes sense.
yeah.
But what about Scarface?
That's another one. That's why
Scarface is a
we
bullet.
could go 10 deep, man. Like, and he's really the true king of the South. I mean, the South is represented on here. No Andre 3000 as well.
Honestly, I have to say Outkast as a whole because it ain't just Andre. Big Boy was more of a puncher than Andre,
Yeah,
but Andre was just more, metaphorically with his shit. You know what I'm
I
saying?
think you could write off Outcast by the group definition for this. So you could kind of explain that away, but Scarface is hard to explain as a snub.
I also
Uh,
mentioned Common. Common is 90s, 2000s at his peak. Like you can
yeah,
arguably put him on here. You can also
but
arguably
but
put
to hold up
LL Cool J
on
of the 90s
Common,
on here.
was Common better in the 2000s than the 90s?
I mean, he always got better, so you can say he got better in the 2000s.
Yeah, because I think you could really make a strong argument that Common's 2000s was better than his 90s because his greatest album, B, came out of that era. His second best album, what is it, Like Water, Water and Chocolate, was it? The
Now,
one,
my favorite album is like
yeah,
Water for Chocolate that
Like
came out
Water
in
for Chocolate.
2000, but a
Yeah,
lot of people would put Resurrection as his second best album. That came out
you
in the
could
mid
debate that.
90s.
That came out in
He
the 90s.
arguably had the song that started this whole talk about life like it's something else.
Yeah,
Or talk about yourself like you're something else. Like he talked about hip hop like it was a woman.
that whole concept, that whole concept and rhyme scheme started with Common. You're right.
And shout out to MC Shan because technically MC Shan did talk about a female like she was cocaine.
That's right.
But Common took it to another level.
I think literally Ice Cube, Snoop, Biggie, Tupac, Nas, DMX, Common, Scarface. That's 7 deep right there. I think the group thing. I mean, now of course Wu Tang. Where you could name three artists right
Yeah,
there.
four
Method
people.
Man, Ghostface, Ray. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Right
that's the
there.
top three. But
Yeah,
shoot, GZA in the 90s was nasty too, though.
yeah,
Because
yeah.
Liquid Swords is arguably one of the best albums of all time. I don't even think there's an album after 2010 that's
But
better
I
than
think,
Liquid Swords.
and then also Andre 3000, Outkast. But I think you could write them off with the group thing. You know what I mean? Even though, like with Wu Tang, you never really knew because their group albums, the solo albums were a lot like group albums anyway. You know what I mean? But
But it's hard to like not include the groups because think about what else came out at that time. Mobb Deep, even though Prodigy was the star.
I was
So if
gonna
you want to
say
say
one of those. I was
Prodigy,
gonna say
you could
Prodigy.
put Prodigy on here.
Yeah,
Also, shoot, all of No Limit from TRU, which
yeah,
which you could put Master P up there, even though he wasn't the best lyricist. Hey, we're not gonna act like that dude ain't had no classic songs
yeah,
down here. Also, your UGK. Now, whether you like Bun B or Pimp C, that's up to you. Also in the 90s, you had Razzcast when he first came out with Soul on Ice, and he was a part of that group with Exhibit and Saphir. I don't know if you remember Saphir.
I know he's from Bay Area, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember him.
Also,
But I think the question
got
would be, I think when you're
yeah,
getting down to that level,
yeah,
you're going to start to have issues as far as the impact they made because even though they have classics, because remember, you can still have Black Thought in that conversation too,
yeah,
But it's like as far as the impact, because I think impact is important, you know what I
yeah,
mean? And once you get down to that list, it's like, well, how impactful were they? Even though they were phenomenal lyricists, But
yeah.
there's the group thing, there's impact, and when you look at this list right here, I think the thing to notice about all of these people on this list. Now, I don't know if this guy's a West Coast fan. I'm assuming Ice Cube was number 1, Snoop number 2, Biggie 3, Tupac 4, Nas 5, honorable mention DMX. So there's a little bit of a, even though I don't understand having Tupac 4 over Ice Cube and Snoop. But anyway, the one thing that I noticed about here is all of these artists had some of the most phenomenal runs in hip hop, meaning 3 albums or 3 consecutive years where they were in the conversation as being the flat out best in the game, you know? Because people forget how dominant Ice Cube was 1990, 1991, 1992, all the way to
he left NWA. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
And Snoop Dogg had the Illmatic of the West Coast with Doggy Style.
Yeah. Well, Snoop, you got to think 91, 92, 93. Doggy Style came into 94, you know, with the Murder Was the Case soundtrack, you know. So Snoop had a dominant run. Biggie, of course, you know, all the way to 97. I would say 94 to 97, you know, and when his untimely passing. And Pac, when he had, I would say, Dear Mama, you know, I'd say 95 all the way to like when he passed, you know, he had one of the 3 best albums ever. I mean, Nas, we just talked about It Was Written in Illmatic, and a very underrated album, which was his most commercially successful one, in I Am. You know what I mean? So he had his run. And of course, DMX, which came towards the end, where 98 to 2000, where he had a 3-album run with Darkest Hell is Hot, Flesh of My Flesh, and then there was X. So
but you also had
very
DMX.
Strong candidates here, bro.
Yeah, but also about DMX, a lot of people started looking for older stuff from him. He was on Mike Geronimo's The Natural album that came out in 95 on Time to Build.
Yeah.
He also had a song where he sampled Isaac Hayes. It was a single that never came out.
Yeah.
I want to say it was called Stick and Move.
I remember that. Yeah.
I think
he was in that was a whole Murder INC with him, Jay-Z, and Ja Rule.
Yeah, but it was an original version where it was just him rapping.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was to that sample.
And of
he
course
also did songs with producer Nick Wiz and Pudgy the Fat Bastard.
And of course, you know what? You know, it just stares you right in the face. I mean, the biggest snub of all, pretty much for the 90s. I mean, and we're just, and it's just right in our face. We were just talking about it. It's Jay-Z. I mean, Reasonable Doubt came out in 96. You know what I mean? His highest selling album was Hard Knock Life Volume 2, and that was 1998, you know? So Jay-Z not being on here, like, come on.
Jay-Z
like,
ain't
really?
on here either. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
It's so many names. And we could actually drop a few females also. I mean, you can arguably put MC Light on here if you want to. Lil' Kim here if you want to, depending if you're in that vibe. Queen Latifah was my favorite female rapper, like, at one point. Another rapper that was one of my favorite rappers. He may not have been very impactful at that time, but he was ahead of his time. Buckshot from Black Moon. Yeah. That's why I said it's hard to like leave groups out, because that Enter the Stage album was so dope and Warzone was so dope. Yeah, but at the same time, if we were to stick with these 5 names, if you wanted to replace, let's say, one of these names with Jay-Z, you could, or you could replace one of these names with Scarface, because we're not going to act like Scarface was still on his run in his 90s.
But I think when you look at Scarface, I think that's what's going to kind of maybe keep him back is he has the Diary, but after that, it's like, does he have something to compete with the second album or the second run? Does he have?
Yes.
What's his It Was Written? What was his?
Here's the
So
thing.
Volume 2. What was his Life After Death?
The Diary was the third album.
Yeah.
His first album was Mr. Scarface is Back.
Yeah.
That is Illmatic. Now, matter of fact.
But let's talk about Impact now, though. I mean,
yeah, because you remember we said this.
Yeah.
And it's so crazy, it went over my head because I said I've yet to hear an Illmatic of the South. Mr. Scarface is Back, which was very sample heavy at that time.
Yeah.
That was his first album away from the Ghetto Boys. Like sonically, you could say that may be the down south Illmatic. Now, impact wise,
but is it looked at it that way though?
And that's the thing, because after that he had dang, what's the name of the album where that had The World in it? I forgot the name of that album, but the second album was dope too. The Diary was the third album that everybody knows him for. But even after that, you had The Untouchable that had Smile with Tupac.
Yeah, that was the one I was thinking about, Untouchable. But you put up Untouchable against a Jay-Z Volume 1, Jay-Z Hard Knock Life Volume 2. I don't know, bro. That's a strong,
but you know what?
You know,
you
flesh
can
of my flesh.
I don't know, bro. The World Is Yours. That's the name of Scarface's second album. You can put The World Is Yours versus a Volume 2.
I don't know, bro. Volume 2 was a movement, man.
No. I'm wrong. Volume 1. Yeah. I'm thinking the single In My Life.
I'll give you Volume 1, but Volume 2 was a monster.
I mean, yeah, you're right. I
mean, that's a hard. I mean, we talking Money Cash Hoes. We talking Can I Get Her? We talking about some of the iconic singles of all time. Hard Knock Life with an Annie sample. Oh my God, man. I went to college. True story. I went to college around late 90s. 99, 98, 99, right? Like, we were on this floor with a bunch of rich suburban kids from Maryland, California, wherever, right?
Yeah.
And me and my homie from Baltimore, we got the Jay-Z volume, Hard Knock Life volume 2 tape.
Yeah.
We started playing that. All of these dudes started knocking on the doors like, hey, what's that song with the Annie singing? That song is hot, man.
Yeah.
I gotta get that tape. Yo, we had everybody on our floor got the Jay-Z volume 2 CD or tape, bro. Every single one. That's what I mean by impact.
See, when I was in college, the Jay-Z album that did that was Blueprint, where everyone was trying to sell like the Blueprint like months before it came out.
Yeah.
Because I was in the bootleg.
So that's impact, man. All right, if I had to redo this.
I can't though, because it's too many names, man.
Well, here's the thing. I would go Nas number 1, Tupac number 2, Biggie 3, and it's almost like it's disrespect because he's number 3. I would probably have to go with Snoop 4, Ice Cube 5, and between DMX and Jay-Z as an honorable mention. I might have to go 2 honorable mentions and go Jay-Z and DMX. Seriously. All right, like let's really objectively look at it. Okay, I have Ice Cube at 5. I have Ice Cube at 5. Are we taking Jay-Z versus Ice Cube in the 90s? Are we taking Jay-Z, Reasonable Doubt, Volume 1, Volume 2, and what is it? In My Lifetime, Sean Carter, Volume 3.
Over Death Certificate, The Predator, and America's Most Wanted. That can be a debate. I would actually put Jay-Z over Snoop because The Dogfather wasn't that good of an album.
Yeah, but the thing but here's the whole thing about Snoop. You had Doggy Style, and you could say what you want. You gotta count Chronic, bro. You can't let it go. He was the star of that album.
And here's where the problem lies.
You can't let that
Because
go, bro.
if you want to add Snoop with the Chronic, I have to bring up Q-Tip.
Okay. Tribe Called Quest. All right.
Because it's not just Tribe Called Quest. Because low key, he was the main producer of Tribe Called Quest, and he was the main rapper. Even though some people would say Phife Dawg may have been better bar for bar, but Q-Tip was the rapper that you always heard. And he low key influenced things in the 90s back then. Like if it wasn't for Q-Tip,
but see, here's the whole thing. Again, we're getting back to the group stuff, and the group stuff you can more write off. See, Chronic was a compilation because Snoop and Dre weren't a group per se. They were two independent artists. They were just rapping together. But Snoop was the one that made Chronic. You can say whatever you want. He was the star of that show. And Dre didn't write nothing. You know what I mean? Like, so.
But you also had Dog Pound on that album too. I'm not going to act like Dog Pound ain't.
Oh, yeah.
Dog Pound did their thing on that album too.
And not to mention, Snoop later in the 90s had his No Limit run was, I mean, Paid to Be the Boss, Paid the Cost to Be the Boss was a pretty dope album. And the one after that,
Top Dog was, I like Top Dog more.
Oh, guess what? And here's the other thing too. Chronic 2001 came out in 1999.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if you can take Snoop off the list, bro. That's a pretty strong resume, man.
It is strong. I mean, but damn. Okay, but see,
it would have to be between DMX and Jay, I would say.
You said between DMX and Jay for the
It's either DMX, it's either Jay-Z or Ice Cube or Jay-Z or DMX. I mean, it's just me. I would probably have Jay-Z as my honorable mention. That's just me. And listen, that's no slight because DMX is in my top 10 rappers of all time.
And that's why I said it's hard to put just 5 because we didn't mention LL, where 90s LL was better than 80s LL.
Yeah.
And it's hard to just name, and it's hard to act
but,
like
I don't know because I'm Bad or Radio is a classic. You know what I mean? So
Mama Say Knock You Out
was 90s.
Was his best album.
Yeah. So I mean, the 90s, man, this is a tough go, bro. This is a tough go.
I'm not going to make an order for that because, like I said, I gave you my personal top 5, and I couldn't, and it's hard for me to say Common should be on here when obviously he doesn't because his impact is nowhere near these 6, nor Jay-Z, nor Scarface.
You know I would keep as is, and I'm just going to have to go toss up between Jay-Z and DMX. I'm just going to have to go that. You take your pick. I may lean Jay, but I mean, it's no disrespect, DMX. You know, rest in peace, bro. Rest in peace in heaven. Don't strike me down.
Now, if I went by these names on
you're still in my top 10 all time, DMX. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, now if I went by these names on here and Jay-Z, I would have Nas number 1, Biggie number 2, Tupac number 3, Jay-Z number 4, number 5, Ice Cube.
Okay, and then Snoop would be here.
And Snoop. See, Snoop or DMX for honorable mention. Dang, that's hard. Because DMX's first 2 albums, even though I'm not the biggest Swiss Beats fan, I respect the lyricism on there. But his first album, see, that's the thing, yo. That's why Snoop versus DMX was a very tough versus. That was a very tough versus.
Snoop, here's a compromise. Who had the weakest projects out of this list? And if we're going to have to go with Snoop, then Snoop is going to have to lead the list.
There is 2 DMX albums I'm not really a fan of.
But the two albums that came out in the 90s were certified classics. And we talking top
Yeah,
15
and
albums ever.
Dogfather did come out in the 90s.
So Dogfather was ass. Paid to be the crop boss to be the boss was decent, but the one after that was pretty good.
And the one after that was actually better.
And if you really want to be nitpicky, okay, Chronic and 2001 were compilation records. So if anybody were to leave, it would probably be Snoop. But no disrespect, Snoop, you still in the top 15. You're still in my top 15 anyway. So if I had to redo it, okay, let's redo it, right? Let's go, like you said, Nas.
I had Nas 1, Biggie 2, Tupac 3. You agree with those 3?
Yeah.
Number 4 is where we're going to disagree because 4 I got Jay-Z.
Okay, no, I'll go for it, Jay-Z. I could go with that.
5 I have Ice Cube.
Okay.
So you're cool with that?
Yeah, and then 6 would our honorable mention would be DMX.
Even though a part of me wants to put Scarface at number 4, but I'll leave him out.
You know what? Scarface and Ice Cube is a serious debate. That is a serious debate, my man. Serious debate. But I like that list. I like that. Let's go with that. So, all right, we're gonna close this out, and we're gonna get to the 2000s, 2010s, and the 2020s. So
that needs its own episode
on the next episode.
Yeah.
All right.